What if I told you that the most powerful force in politics today isn't a person at all? It's not a president, not a prime minister, but the algorithm that lives right there in your pocket. What if the future of our elections is being decided not just in voting booths, but in massive data centers that track our every single click? So, that's the big question we're tackling today. How exactly is our digital world rewiring the very foundations of politics and democracy? We're going to look at everything, from the incredible promise of a more connected government to the very real peril of a more divided society. But first things first, before we dive deep into the impact, let's make sure we're all on the same page. We need to be crystal clear on what we actually mean when we talk about digital politics. At the very heart of this whole transformation is something called ICT. That's Information and Communication Technology. Now, this isn't just one single thing. It's the entire ecosystem of digital tools that connects us to the political process. We're talking about the internet itself, the smartphones we carry everywhere, all the software that makes it run. All of this technology has created what experts call the digital public sphere. Think about it like this. Picture the old town square, the historic place where everyone gathered for public debate. Now, imagine that square suddenly shattering into a million different pieces. Well, that's what we have now. It's our social media feeds, our forums, our comment sections, a huge, sometimes chaotic, and incredibly powerful new space where public opinion is shaped. And nowhere is this digital shift more obvious than on the campaign trail. The old rulebook for how you get elected, for how you reach voters. It's been completely torn up and rewritten from scratch. On the one hand, you see the old playbook, a single message broadcast to the masses, right? Think TV ads or big rallies. But on the other hand, that's the new game. It is hyper-targeted, it's data-driven, and it's intensely personal. Campaigns aren't just shouting at crowds anymore, they're using AI to whisper directly into the ears of individual voters. And look at how strategic this has all become. Each platform is now like a specialized tool in the political arsenal. Facebook is for surgical ad targeting and getting groups mobilized. Twitter is the command center for rapid response, for shaping the news of the day. And platforms like Instagram and TikTok, they are the critical battlegrounds for winning over the youth vote, where visual, shareable content is absolute king. And this slide really gets to the engine driving all of it: data. Every single click, every like, every share you make online, that's the fuel. It helps campaigns build these shockingly detailed profiles of who you are. Now, this allows for some powerful targeting, but as we saw with the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal, it's a very, very short step from persuasion to downright unethical manipulation. But hey, it's not all about elections. ICT is also completely changing the day-to-day business of governing, making it way more accessible and, at least in theory, a lot more efficient for all of us. This is what we call e-governance, and it's a pretty simple but profound idea. What if government services worked more like Amazon and less like, well, the DMV? It's all about taking that bureaucracy out of dusty, inconvenient buildings and putting it online, right at your fingertips. Chances are you've already used it without even thinking about it. Renewing a driver's license, paying your taxes, or registering a business online, these are all perfect examples of e-governance in action. The goal is pretty straightforward: make government faster, more convenient, and ultimately more transparent for everyone it's meant to serve. But this is definitely an evolution, not some overnight revolution. It starts with just a simple web presence, a basic website. Then it moves to interaction, like being able to email an agency. Then you get to transaction, where you can actually do stuff online, like pay taxes. The final step, transformation, that's the holy grail. That's a complete digital reinvention of how government works and serves its citizens. So we've got more engagement and more convenience. Sounds pretty great, right? Well, here's the catch. For every single opportunity this technology creates, it also unleashes a huge, often hidden risk. And this is really the central conflict of our digital age. And here's the absolute crucial point. The very same algorithms that curate your social media feed also, in a way, build you a cage. They learn what you like, what you agree with, and then they just show you more of it. They systematically wall you off from different viewpoints. These echo chambers become the perfect petri dishes for misinformation, allowing it to spread like a virus within these isolated online groups. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're facing a constant barrage of threats. Cyber attacks on voter systems, foreign governments trying to sow division, and armies of automated bots making fringe ideas look mainstream. all of this just fuels something called effective polarization, which is a fancy way of saying we don't just disagree with the other side anymore. We start to despise them as people. And in the middle of all this, we absolutely cannot forget about the digital divide. As politics moves more and more online, who gets left behind? What about people without reliable internet access or the digital skills to navigate these really complex platforms? A digital democracy runs a huge risk of becoming a democracy only for the digitally privileged, leaving some of the most vulnerable voices completely unheard. So, what does it actually look like when a country decides to go all in on digital democracy? Well, for that, let's take a look at Estonia, a true pioneer that has embraced internet voting for years. Get this, as far back as their 2013 elections, over a fifth of all participating voters cast their ballots online. That just goes to show you how widely adopted these systems can become when the public trust and the right infrastructure are in place. But even Estonia isn't some kind of digital paradise. They are constantly battling massive challenges. How do you stop sophisticated hackers? And just as important, how do you convince the public that their digital vote is truly safe and truly secret? It just proves that convenience and security are in this constant, delicate balancing act. Okay, so where does all this leave us? We've seen the incredible promise and the, frankly, terrifying peril. The question now is, what do we do about it? How do we actively work to build a better digital democracy for the future? You know, if there's one single thing to take away from all this, it's this. Technology is just a tool. It's a powerful amplifier. That's it. Whether it ends up strengthening or shattering democracy depends entirely on how we, as a society, choose to wield it, to regulate it, and to design it. And this slide right here really maps out the work that's ahead of us. It starts with each of us, sharpening our own media literacy so we can spot misinformation. It demands that our governments seriously fortify their cybersecurity. And it requires all of us to demand radical transparency from the tech companies whose algorithms now hold so much power over our public discourse. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. The digital transformation of politics is only accelerating. The challenge and the real opportunity for all of us is to actively shape it, to build a system that harnesses this incredible connectivity, not to divide us, but to make our democracy stronger, more inclusive, and more resilient for the generations to come.